Hello, teachers from all over the world. My name is Tanya from TanyaTeacherTraining.com, and today I would like to start by thanking all those teachers who have subscribed to this channel. People from Russia, people from Azerbaijan, teachers from India, teachers from Latin America, and teachers from all those beautiful countries that I would like to see someday. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I hope that you have found the information here useful. If this is your first time here, teacher, I'm going to say to you, welcome, and please subscribe so you don't miss on anything. Today, we're going to be talking about how to prepare students for an international exam. In this case, reading. Okay, we're going to have a series of videos covering the 4 skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And today we will be talking about reading. Do you want to know more? So stay here with me. Let's start, shall we? Okay, ready? Well, there are some things we need to know when we prepare our students for an international exam. In this case, we are talking about IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge exams, CAT, PET, or key and preliminary, the way that we call them now. Okay. Point number 1, how many skills or modules does the test have? Does it cover reading and listening? Does it cover the 4 skills? What is the format for each skill? Okay. By this I mean, do they have to write an essay, like in IELTS? Do they need to write a story, like in first certificate? What do they have to do? What is the format? Now, does the exam include a separate section for use of English? Use of English means grammar and vocabulary, okay? If it does, then you need to prepare your students for that in a separate way. How much time do my students have for each component? Do they have 1 hour? Do they have 30 minutes? Because I need to start timing my students in order to make sure that they are able to answer the number of questions they need in the right time. Okay? Now, possible modules for the exam or components, or they are called papers too. Reading, writing, listening, speaking, and use of English. In this case, we are going to talk about reading. You know that we have different text types. A recipe is one text type, a brochure, an online article, what else? Well, there are many, like an essay, or there are many text types. First, they need to be familiar with different text types, but then you need to focus on the text types that are included in the exam, okay? Our students need to know about certain topics. Why? Because they are going to be covering certain vocabulary according to the topics, and that goes according to the level that they are going to take the exam on. Okay? If they are level A1 or A2, they're going to see some topics. If they are level B2, more abstract topics, not so familiar, not everyday life topics. So that's what you have to know in order to prepare them better. Okay? Now, the layout. Why the layout? First of all, what is a layout? If we think about a recipe, we think about pictures of the dish, we think about ingredients, and then we think about instructions. That is the layout, the way that the text looks. Okay? Why is it important for them to recognize this? Because the moment they see a reading, when they recognize it, they know what to expect from that reading. Imagine they come across this a recipe, okay? Immediately they're going to start thinking about all the elements that this kind of text contains. Okay, it contains imperatives. It contains certain connectors, like first, then, after that. I don't know, mixed. They expect to see certain pictures. So the idea here is that they can understand a text at a glance. That's why layout is important. Now, vocabulary and register. Also, register, remember, it's the level of formality. The same. When they look at an essay, they know what to expect. They know that it's normally neutral to semi-formal vocabulary, and if they see an essay, they immediately know that probably it's a compare contrast essay, or an essay where they need to give where they are going to read about 2 points of view, things like that. Okay, the idea here in the exam is to save time as much as possible. So you're going to prepare your students for them to visualize different kinds of text, to know the layout, the vocabulary involved, the register involved, and the connectors. Like I said, in the recipe, you're going to have first, next, then, after, but the same you're going to have in a story. So if I know that about a story and it tells me the story of Sherazada and the 1000 Nights, I know what to expect. I know that I'm going to find a lot of verbs in past. I know the kind of connectors, and I know that I'm going to have like the beginning of the story, maybe I'm going to have certain events that go in order, and I'm going to have at the end like the conclusion of the story. All those things our students need to be able to to analyze fast. Okay, now what I was telling you about the level of English our students have. For example, here it says possible topics for A2: sports, adventure, hobbies, entertainment, family, because these are like everyday life topics easily known by our students. So the readings are going to contain this kind of words, this kind of vocabulary or lexis. Okay, if we move on to B1, they are likely to find vocabulary about media, business, nature and environment, science, technology. And as we go further, as we move up in other levels, they're going to find more abstract vocabulary. Okay, now the layout. I was telling you about the layout. Do we have columns in the reading? Do we have titles and subtitles? This is going to help them a lot, because when you tell them, okay, this news, okay, let's talk about a newspaper article. Okay, we always find headings and subheadings, and we can tell our students, okay, if you are able to read headings and subheadings, you are going to know what the story is about, what the news is about. Okay, remember, teachers, we're trying to save time here. Okay, then vocabulary and register according to the topic, like I just said. And let me move a little bit here so you can see this. And connectors for a story, for an essay, compare contrast essay. What kind of words can you find? Think of 3 words. Connectors. Yes? Okay. Like, however, in spite of, for instance. So these are the kinds of words that we need to work with our students. I will move again. Okay, now let's talk about reading soft skills. This is basic, teachers. Whenever you approach reading in your class, you're going to start with gist. Remember that gist is global reading, or reading for main ideas. Why? Let's say they are doing IELTS, for example. They're going to have 3 readings in this component, in the reading component. Okay, so they need to take 20 minutes to read each one. If they go immediately to the questions, they are not going to understand the main idea of their reading. What they need to do is take 2 or 3 minutes of their time just to observe, like I said, titles, pictures, subtitles, Maybe the topic sentence. Remember, topic sentence is the first sentence that comes at the beginning of the paragraph. Okay, so they are going to see this: titles, subtitles, pictures, main ideas. Okay, 2 or 3 minutes for this. That's all. They understood the main idea. Okay, they have already understood the main idea. What is the point here? That when you are reading the main idea of something, your brain works with all the concepts and all the things that are related to that topic. Okay, let's say the topic is the Second World War. Okay, we start thinking about words such as I don't know, forces, enemies, allies, tanks, retreat, conquer, things like that. When all those words come to your mind, it's going to be easier for you to understand the reading. It's going to be faster. So that's what they have to do. First, reading for gist, and then we move on to reading for detail. Now, in reading for detail, you need to tell your students to go now to the questions. To the questions in the exam. Go and do a quick reading to the question and then find the answers. Okay? And there you are going to remember if the question or the topic of the question was like in the first paragraph or in the middle or at the end of the reading. Okay? You need to practice that with them. First, reading for gist, then go to the questions and try to remember where this information was. So they are not going to be wasting time like reading carefully all the paragraphs. No, they shouldn't do that. Okay, not for the exams. For other purposes, they do. Okay, paraphrasing. In all the exams, we're going to find this, and I think this is the key word for everything. The questions are not going to contain exactly the words that we find in the reading itself. So you need to teach them to paraphrase the questions when they are in the class. Okay, like how long ago did this person go to the, I don't know, to the pyramids, to visit the pyramids? Okay, and then in the reading, you're going to find like the journey to the pyramids was in 1952. Okay, so the word journey is not here, but the idea of the journey is teach your students to paraphrase. Another one, deducing meaning from context, because in the exams they normally tell you the word in line 23 means, okay, or what does this word mean? What does this word refer to? So we need to teach them not to use the dictionary so much, to be more autonomous when they are reading, to try to guess the meaning of the words. How do you do that? Okay, you look at the word, you need to understand if it's a noun, a verb, what part of speech it is, okay? And then by the context, try to guess the meaning. Okay, otherwise, well, in the exam, they won't have time to look up the words, but normally we need to take some time to practice this with our students. Okay, and finally, inferring writer's attitude. In the exam, normally we find this kind of question. What does the author mean by? What is the writer's tone in this paragraph? We need to teach them, or we need to explain to them that when you see, for example, positive words, when you see good adjectives, positive adjectives, then normally the writer's view is going to be optimistic, it's going to be positive. But if you see words criticizing, giving a poor opinion on something, then maybe the writer is not for that. Maybe the writer is against something. Okay, that's reading between lines, and we need to work with our students on that. Okay, so these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 soft skills that we need to practice with our students regarding reading. Okay? All right, teachers, so this is the first part, the first of 4 parts we're going to have regarding preparing our students for international tests. Remember that this is only a global idea about what you have to do, okay, with your students. If you need more information, please ask your questions in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like so we can give you what you need. Okay, the important thing is that we are here to serve you and to help you. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.